Welcome to the Y in You, presented by the Manitowoc Two Rivers YMCA.
And welcome back to the Y in You here on 1240 Radio, WOMT 107.9 FM, and of course, streaming online anytime at WOMTradio.com. Julie joins us once again this morning. Good morning, Julie.
Good morning, Terry. How you doing?
I can't complain. Welcome to the month of May.
It's the month of May.
Right?
Yes, special month.
I love this month. For me, it's a special month. It's my anniversary, so...
it's my birthday month.
Well, look at that.
Yeah. I mean, special in so many ways, right?
Absolutely.
Plus spring. We all love spring in
Right?
Wisconsin.
And Memorial Day in May, right? So we
Day.
always, thank those and celebrate and honor all of our fallen men and women.
Absolutely. Yep.
Today, though, as we are talking about May is also National Mental Health Month, and there's so much we can talk about this. So let's just jump right in, Julie.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm so glad there is a month dedicated to this conversation. And I'm so grateful. One of the silver linings I really believe from this last crazy year plus that we've all been through is just smashing the stigma on talking about mental health and being real about mental health. And I think we were already on a really good path towards that with our national dialogue. But man, if any year demanded that we get real about talking about this really important aspect of who we are and how we show up in the world, this last year has forced the issue.
Mental health is something that is so vitally important for us to talk about, right? And for all of us to understand that it is real. I know that that's one of the things sometimes people have in the past challenged, right? It's not real, or it's not a real illness, but
right. You can't touch it like you can touch a broken bone. You can't see an X-ray of the tumor. You can't look at it, and you can't touch it and feel it. That, as so many of us know from so many experiences in our lives, does not define where reality stops and ends. I mean, mental health, we all have it. We all have mental health, just like we all have physical health. And where we are on the spectrum between, clinical depression and flourishing is different on any given day for many of us. I mean, some of us are living with real medical diagnoses when it comes to mental health, just like physical health. Some of us are living with real diagnoses, and others of us just feel less great someday, and we just languish a little more sometimes. And I think that's a word that's been really resonant with a lot of people over this last year. Like, we're not really depressed. We're not like clinically depressed, but we're not flourishing. We're languishing. And that's something that I think if we all just embrace kind of that word and that experience, if in fact that is what we've been living with, and using now the month of May to really kind of dig into that, and what does that really mean for me, and what does languishing really looked like for me, and now how do I get out of it, and what help do I need from those around me, or professional help, and what do I need to do to get out of that languishing mode?
So what does the YMCA have to offer for those that are struggling with mental health? Because as we all know, being involved and being active definitely helps your mental health, as well as obviously your physical health. Yeah,
and it'll come to no surprise to any of our listeners to hear like the incredibly intertwined, there's just no extrapolating one from the other. Mental health and physical health are absolutely combined, and there's some really interesting new science out that underscores that by a pair of social scientists. Emily and Amelia Nagoski wrote a book recently called Burnout, and I'd highly recommend it to any of our listeners today. And it really talks about stress and how we experience stress, and that in and of itself is not a bad thing. We need stress to survive in the world. Where ill health comes in is when we get stuck in stress and when we just don't move on from it. And their number one antidote, according to the science that they studied, the number one antidote to moving on from stress and closing the chapter on stress is physical movement. And that is the way they kind of talk about stress like a tunnel. Like, you get stuck in this tunnel, and just going through the tunnel isn't a bad thing. Like, we have stress, we're going to experience it, but it's when we get stuck in the tunnel, when we languish in the tunnel, that's when ill health comes into play. And so physical movement, 30 minutes of physical movement, tells our body in our body's language, you're safe, you're okay, you can release the stress, and you can move on. And we got to do that because inevitably another tunnel is coming and we're going to have more stress. So we've got to daily release that stress.
Stress is never just going to vanish in our lives, right? And it's all about managing stress, not letting stress manage you. And being a member of the Y, you're also kind of like a member of a community, member of a bigger family that will love and support and encourage, and also accountability in there. So I guess we just want to really take a moment and shed light on, May is Mental Health Month. Take some time. If you've never learned more about what mental health is, go for that, because it is so important and it impacts every one of us on some level.
Absolutely.
Julie, what is the best way for listeners to engage with the YMCA?
I would encourage people just to stop by. Come by the Y. Just like you said, Terry, you can move your body and feel great. Almost more importantly, you can see other people and share smiles and share laughs. And so just stop by the Y.
And we'll talk to you next week, Julie. Thank you.
Experience the Y in you when you join the Manitowoc Two Rivers YMCA. To learn more, visit mtrymca.org or simply stop in anytime. We're here to help.